welcome to the Garden Show. I'm Louise Hodges of Greenbug, and I am here with Joshua Brown of LowCo Gardeners.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, we're glad to have you here today. What we're going to be talking about is we're going to take a nice tour of LowCo Gardeners today to talk about all kinds of different plants and all your opportunities here. We're going to be talking about the Greenbug system as well and how you can control plants naturally in your yard. But before we get to that, Josh and I wanted to talk about watering. We're getting into the time of year where people have done a lot of planting or from the past, and this is a time where your plants really need a lot of water. And ironically, the #1 cause of death with plants is overwatering. So, but I don't want to scare everybody. You need to water your plants, but there are correct ways to water plants and incorrect ways to water plants. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But it's kind of difficult here to overwater plants because most of this area has very sandy soil and it just leaches right through, so it's hard to overwater. But we do have some very thick strains of heavy clay that go through here, and it's very easy to overwater plants in that situation. So Josh, talk to us about what's some of the best ways to water plants.
Yeah, so especially here at the nursery, we always talk about bottom watering or watering directly to the soil of the plant. And it's crazy because all of your irrigation, a lot of the times, you'll have a bunch of top watering for your plants, but really for your landscape in the hottest part of the year, especially what we're coming up to, that is like a huge no-no essentially. Top watering your plants opens it up to fungus, diseases, burn spots in your leaves. And so really a good thing to focus on would be bottom watering and watering directly to the dirt of the soil. And so especially when we're dealing with the nursery here, we have tons of inventory that is under irrigation. So we have to make sure we water early parts of the day, and then all throughout the day we have to go back through and bottom water or water directly to the dirt.
So when you're talking about bottom watering, you're talking about putting the water from your hose directly at the root zone of the plant.
Yes,
so
exactly.
not doing it on the top, but putting it directly where it needs to go.
Yes, exactly.
Because the roots need a combination of air and water in order to thrive. And then let's talk about the frequency. Now, I know some people that have put in new plant material and say, well, I'm going to water it every day. Well, that's not necessarily a good idea, and tell us why.
Yeah, so really you want less frequent watering, but a more amount of water. Because if you water it less frequently with a little bit of water, you're not setting up that root system for a good established root system. The roots are going to spread out wide instead of going deep into the soil. So the more that you water it at a time, less frequent over the couple of days. So you don't water every day, water every other day, or sometimes skip a day and go 2 days without your water, and watering deep into the soil so that those root systems go down deep into the nutrients and you have a good established plant.
So if you've got like a brand new plant, instead of putting the hose to it for say 15 seconds, it'd be better to hold it there for like a minute, but not as frequently.
Yes, not as frequently. You want to make sure that the water's going deep into the soil so that the roots stretch down to it. You have a good established plant.
Excellent. Well, one of the things that's important about a plant, we keep talking about the roots, the quality, the success of any plant is going to be based on the quality of the root zone. And so if you have a lot of surface roots like you're talking about, if for some reason you've watered them a lot too frequently and not deeply enough, and all your root zone is on the very top of the ground, if for some reason you get called away or you don't water it, it's very vulnerable.
Yes, very.
Because the top inch of soil is going to dry out faster than it's going to deeper. So you want to train your plants by your watering techniques to get the roots to go as far down as possible, and they are going to be drought tolerant throughout their lifetime, much more so.
That is very true, and that applies even to your lawn, your landscape, your indoor plants, and everything. So giving a good established water to your landscape and into your plants is going to basically set you up to success in the long run.
One caveat really quickly, if you have a container pot, Now that is probably going to need to be, that's a false environment. It's
Yep.
not in the earth, so that is going to need watering with great frequency.
That is,
Yeah.
there we go.
Some container pots up to twice a day,
Yes.
depending on how sunny it is. But what we're talking about really is the landscape plants. So less frequent, more thorough watering is the best bet.
Yes. Very
Okay.
much, yeah.
Well, let's get on to the show. Next up, we've got Greenbug to talk about all natural pest control to take care of all the bugs in your yard.